Alright everybody, as you guys know, we recently got the 14 EX banner, which is a crazy banner, first time they've ever done this. I believe the only time we got more than 2 EXs on the same banner was about 3 months ago when Oden and Whitebeard came on the same banner. Well, other than, okay, if you count the guaranteed ticket banner, but that's a ticket, you couldn't summon with gems, you had to pay money to get the guaranteed EX, and you were probably only guaranteed one EX. I think their rates were, you could get another EX, so it's just extremely low, but you were guaranteed at least one EX, and I believe that went up to, who did it go up to? Film Red Shanks, I think? So, but yeah, this banner is crazy. Of course, the rates are horrible, but overall, this banner is pretty insane. I mean, half the EXs in the game, over half, are on this banner alone. Of course, they only go up to Kid and Law. They skipped Gear 5th, which is also kind of weird, but today we're going to not talk about Gear 5th being skipped, but as you know, Blackbeard and Shanks were the first EXs on the first anniversary they came out. They both came out on the same banner together. Okay, I guess they're another example of the same banner, but they've never done that since. But they were two new EXs, and they came out on the same banner, which was crazy, but the game was different back then. Now it's all about money, so of course they would never do that with new EXs, but yeah, as you see, it goes from Blackbeard and Shanks all the way up to Claw, which is first anniversary to 4.5 anniversary, excluding the main EX, which is Gear 5th, of course. But every single EX in between there, except two, which is Film Red Shanks and Z, which were both characters of the 3.5 anniversary. That was one of the last anniversaries, I think. We got only 2 EXs in one anniversary. And then they changed it to 3 right after, and every anniversary since then has been 3 EXs, I believe. So, just weird they skipped them, because, you think of Z, honestly, he's one of the worst EXs in the game. Not to say he can't be used, he is just overall the worst. I mean, he can't fill the treasure gauge when they're on it, he can't fill it past the normal gauge amount, he's just outdated. And everyone counters him, everyone pretty much in this game counters him. Everyone removes his Z state. Z without his Z state, unfortunately, is Bounty Fest level at best, and an old Bounty Fest. Just, everyone has status effect removed these days, making Z not very viable, unfortunately. Not to say he can't destroy if you know how to use him, but Z overall is probably, honestly, I would say personally, the worst EX currently in the game. And then maybe Oden follows after him, but Oden, you can rat your way. You don't need to fight with Oden. Z, he's on the front line, middle of the treasure, enemy's treasure gauge, fighting for his life constantly. Because you need to defend that treasure. That's your job, defend the treasure. And Oden, though, you can just grab a treasure, run away with his skill, stun an enemy, run away. Just be a rat, basically. That's what Oden needs to do. Not to say I don't want Oden's buff. I do want his buff, honestly, more than both of these characters, because Oden got, scammed 3 times. They skipped Oden, did Roger, okay, I guess he's the next one, skipped him again, did Kaido and Yamato. And yeah, Yamato was still viable in the league, like, you could still use her. By no means was she insane or good, but you could still use her better than Oden. But yeah, they skipped 3 EXs over Oden, which is weird, so maybe, I think alternatively, they could do Z and Oden together instead of Shanks and Z as a buff, but I don't know, it's just weird they skipped Shanks also. I do think that's the most likely outcome though, they're gonna do Z then Oden. And I honestly, Shanks does not need a buff. He's by no means a crazy top 5 character, but he's definitely top 10, 100% still. And he's 2.5, whatever years old already, which is insane. So, yeah, Shanks definitely does not need a buff, because he is still viable. You can still spawn in, you can get a ton of kills, you can carry your team, whatever. teleport across the map, use your invincible skill, just whatever you need. You can still do it easily. And his damage is just so insane. You could kill any of the new EXs if you're good enough. But like I said, Oden and Z are low tier EXs. They aren't very viable. So I hope they get their buffs at the same time or something like that. And yeah, they can honestly skip Shanks for now. But like I said, it's just why. There's no reason not to include, to exclude whatever Shanks and Z. Even Oden's in this banner. They could have just, if they wanted to, got rid of Yamato and Claw and put Z and Shanks in there like it should be pretty much. Just go up to the 4th anniversary, not 4.5. Now, another reason they could have done that, I do know most people did summon on this banner for specifically Claw. Everyone's trying to get Claw, you know. He is, of course, the best character on this banner. Well, I mean, I forgot Roger got his buff. So did Kaido and Yamato. So he's one of the best characters on this banner. And probably one of the most sought-after characters, though. Because we got Blue Kaido's rerun recently. We got Yamato's rerun recently. We even got Oden rerun. We got Film Red Shanks rerun. Which was... Okay, here, I wrote it down. So Z's rerun was over a year ago. So Z, technically... I would say he has the most likely to buff, because usually when a character is going to get a buff, they have not been out in the game for a while. When Big Mom got her buff, Blackbeard and Shanks got their buffs, their banner has not been out for 2 years, I believe it was. It was a crazy amount of time. Roger, of course, he comes out pretty often. Of course, he is probably one of the most popular characters in the game, but... yeah, so Roger did come out a decent amount. I'm not sure when his last banner rerun was before his buff. Same with Kaido and Yamato. I don't think Kaido and Yamato got a rerun recently, but maybe they did, I'm not sure. But Film Red Shanks got a rerun only 2 months ago, which was, like, really soon. That was, whatever. And then Oden, he came out with light Whitebeard on his banner. That was the first 2 EX banner, and they only came out 3 months ago. So I believe Z is the rarest EX now, because I think he's the longest it's been since his rerun. And I believe since his release at the 3.5 anniversary, I could be wrong, he's only ever had a rerun 1 single time. Just once since the 3.5 anniversary, which is insane. I know a lot of people have like every EX in the game, but they're missing Z specifically. So, and personally, for me, Z was probably my favorite character in his prime. Like, he was so broken. I dare say he was even better than Film Red Shanks in his meta. Like, you just need to know how to play him. But so I boost forward Film Red Shanks pretty much day 1 of his release, and there was just these level 100 Zs with my attack built all the way up, and I was doing 100 damage with my skill 1 and 2. 100 damage to just a level 100 Z. He was so broken. You needed the right metal set, and of course you needed to know how to play him. But Z was a monster back then. And yeah, just insane. But then, of course, Big Mom came and brought the status effect remove. Well, she didn't bring it, but she basically just destroyed Z with type advantage plus status effect remove and everything like that. Along with Shanks. I guess she counted Shanks also, but I'd say she's more of a counter to Z since he was so broken in that time. And then, of course, we got Zoro, who also did the same thing in that same anniversary. And does Kaido have status effect remove? I'm not sure. I don't think he does. I think it's just Big Mom and whatever, Kaido. But yeah, I just think it's extremely weird they skipped over the characters. Like, to me, there is no reason to skip over those 2 characters unless if they're gonna get a buff. Now, that doesn't mean they're gonna get a buff next week or even next month, but next buffs that do come, which will probably, not 100% guaranteed, but probably come before the main EX, or like right before the main EX, or right after the main EX, like a month after. I believe Roger came out 1 month after the main EX, so that would be, who was the main EX? Light Shanks. And then, also, which is kind of weird, is Yamato and Kaido only came out like 3 months after that. So, it is possible they could buff right before the anniversary. It is possible, or maybe like right after the first EX, but most likely they'll buff them after the main EX of the 6th anniversary. But yeah, we just have no idea. I really want Oden's buff the most, but Z definitely needs one also. I dare say he needs it more. Not to say I want Z's more necessarily. Oden, if they skip Oden again, people are going to be mad. Skipping 3 EXs, like, he should have been in line. He should have buffed with Roger. If not with Roger, he should have buffed maybe like Blue Kaido and Oden, or Yamato and Oden. Because I'd say Oden and, Yamato, but... or Oden and Kaido, but Oden would have probably just countered Kaido. So, of course, bringing whatever Oden's buff would definitely counter Kaido's buff, and then bringing Z's buff. Z could counter Yamato pretty good, I'd say. Yeah, I'd say Z would counter Yamato really, really good if he buffs. So, 2 counters to the last 2 buffs would be very nice. But we'll just have to see. None of this is confirmed. It's just, like I said, extremely weird. There should be no reason they skipped these 2 characters.